In the time of the Buddha, a princess named Supawasa became pregnant. The princess was a devout disciple of the Buddha and was enlightened at the level of Sotapanna. Ever since her pregnancy began, hundreds of gifts arrived continuously throughout the day and night. Everything she touched yielded bountiful harvests, and supplies never ran short. However, despite all these auspicious events, the child remained in her womb for 7 years and 7 months. One day, while experiencing immense pain, the princess centered her thinking on the Buddha and his qualities, the Dhamma and its qualities, and the Sangha and their qualities. This helped her greatly in bearing the pain. After 7 days, she sent her husband to invite the Buddha to receive alms. When the prince met the Buddha asked about the princess. After the prince told him, the Buddha said, "May the Golya princess Supawasa be sound and healthy." At that very moment, she gave birth to a healthy son, whom his parents named Sivali. The family invited the Buddha to receive alms for 7 days. Since he was in the womb for 7 years, he was born fully developed. The young Sivali was able to do all things a child of 7 could do. His extended stay inside his mother's womb was the direct result of the suffering he caused the citizens of Benares in his past life. He caused them to suffer for 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days. Just so, he suffered for 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days, on top of countless years in the Awichi hell. On the 7th day after his birth, Sariputta, the marshal of the Dhamma, had a conversation with the boy. The Venerable Sariputta asked, "Are you well?" "How can I be doing well after suffering for 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days? All I have known in my life is suffering." "Then how do you feel about ordaining and finding a way out from the suffering inherent to rebirth?" "If my mother would allow it, I would like to ordain." Since his mother was already a Sotapanna and a devout Buddhist, she gave her permission. Before his ordination, the Venerable Sariputta taught him to contemplate 5 things. Kesa, hair of the head. Loma, hair of the body. Nakha, nails. Danta, teeth. Tacho, skin. Sivali was to use these 5 things as the topic of his contemplation. He was to contemplate them according to the 3 common characteristics. Firstly, anicca, or impermanence. All things are subject to change. All things are of the nature to decay. All these can be either desirable or undesirable. All things deteriorate and are unable to remain in their current state for long. Secondly, anatta, or not self. Nothing endures. Nothing can be considered a self or constitute a permanent identity. Nothing is under our complete control. We will have to pass on and eventually leave everything behind. nothing can truly belong to us. Lastly, dukkha, or suffering. Owing to the nature of anicca and anatta, we suffer when we try to resist nature and its absolute truth. Suffering is inherent in birth. Once we are born, we move towards aging, sickness, and eventually death. At this ordination, Siwali focused intently on these topics. When the blade cut off the first part of his hair, Siwali's mind penetrated the truth and he became a Sotapanna. When the blade cut the second part of his hair, Siwali was able to obtain a deeper understanding and became a Sakadagami. When the blade cut off the third part of his hair, Siwali penetrated a still deeper level of understanding and became an Anagami. As the last part of his hair left his head, so did all his remaining defilements. Siwali had become an Arahant, a fully enlightened being. Ever since Siwali ordained as a Samanera, the 4 requisites, namely clothing, food, dwellings, and medicine, were always in abundance to the Sangha, wherever Siwali happened to be. Wherever he went, people were excited and prepared food and gifts for him. All of the monks around him were able to share in the bounty. Wherever Siwali traveled, he was always well taken care of. At one time, when the Venerable Siwali had ordained as a bhikkhu, he sought permission from the Buddha to explore the limits of his good karma. He received permission to take 500 monks with him as companions on their journey to the Himawanta Mountains. At the first stop on his journey, Siwali found a great banyan tree. There, the spirit of the tree provided him and the monks with alms for 7 days. Secondly, he reached the Pandawa hill, where Devas gave him alms for 7 days. Thirdly, he reached the river Achirawati, where Devas gave him alms for 7 days. Fourthly, he reached the ocean known as Wara Sakara, where Devas gave him alms for 7 days. Fifthly, he reached the Himawanta Mountains, where Devas gave him alms for 7 days. Sixthly, he reached the lake in the Chandanta forest, where Devas gave him alms for 7 days. Seventhly, he reached Mount Ganta Matana, where Devas gave him alms for 7 days. There was not a single moment in the long journey that the Venerable Siwali or any of his companions went without what they needed. Devas provided everything and made their journey easy all along the way. Etataka, foremost in receiving abundant gifts. Around the time that Siwali Thera was at Mount Ganta Matana, Sariputta Thera planned to visit his younger brother, Rewata, who had recently ordained. The Buddha, in his supreme knowledge, saw that Rewata was practicing vipassana contemplation and prevented Sariputta from going. When Sariputta asked the third time, the Buddha knew that Rewata had become an Arahant and said, "I shall go with you, Sariputta. Inform the monks." Having gathered all the monks, the Venerable Ananda asked, "Exalted Buddha, here is a junction of two roads. By which road should we go?" "Ananda, what is the difference between the two roads?" "My lord, the straight path is 30 yojana. It is in the domain of demons, and food is scarce. The other path is 60 yojana, and is safe with plenty of food." "Ananda, will Siwali join our group?" "Yes, my lord. Siwali will be in our group." "In that case, Ananda, let the Sangha take the straight road full of danger and with less food. We shall test his supernatural power founded on his past meritorious deeds." From the time they began the more treacherous way, Dewas created a large city in advance at every yojana. There were lodgings for the entire Sangha all along the road. At every lodging, Dewas in disguise served the monks delectable food and asked, "Where is the Venerable Siwali? Where is the Venerable Siwali?" The monks traveled 1 yojana a day and covered the difficult journey in 1 month. The Buddha spoke in praise of the Venerable Siwali by saying, "Monks, among my bhikkhus who receive the 4 requisites in abundance, Bhikkhu Siwali is the foremost." Thus, the Venerable Siwali realized his original aspiration from 100,000 eons ago. What did you learn from this story? Let us know in the comments. We hope you enjoyed the video. Click like if you did, and click subscribe if you want to see our uploads. And consider making a donation to support our Buddhist animation project.